Christianity views the eternal realm, heaven and new earth, as a complete restoration, going beyond the limits of the current life, where justice is administered by an almighty being. Absolute healing. Victims are promised complete healing, not only physically, but also spiritually and emotionally, erasing all traces of trauma caused by crime. Believers are said to experience the resurrection of the body and live in a new state, no longer affected by earthly weakness or decay. All pain, tears, sorrow, and suffering, including psychological trauma from crime, will be completely eliminated. This is described in the book of Revelation. The Bible describes a new heaven and a new earth, where God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. The concept of restitution in the eternal realm is replaced by God's perfect justice. Justice will be executed absolutely and without error by God through the final judgment. Although material restitution is no longer necessary, the restoration of the victim's lost honor, value, and dignity will be absolute. They are affirmed as having infinite value in the eyes of the Creator. The perpetrator will face judgment and bear full responsibility for their actions. This definitively affirms that evil does not win eternally, and every action has consequences. Buddhism views the eternal realm not as a place, but as a state of being free from suffering. Healing and justice are resolved through the law of karma and inner transformation. Liberation and healing. Healing is not the restoration of a former state, but the transcendence of all bonds of suffering. The eternal realm, liberation, nirvana, is the state of being free from suffering and the cycle of rebirth, samsara. In this state, all suffering caused by earthly crime is nullified. Healing primarily lies in the practice of forgiveness and letting go of attachment to resentment and hatred in this very life. This helps the victim achieve inner peace and avoid creating further negative karma. Buddhism does not mention material restitution or external judgment, but relies on the principle of cause and effect. The victim is comforted that the perpetrator's evil karma will automatically bring a corresponding consequence for themselves in this life or future lives. This is the natural mechanism of justice in the universe. Suffering stems from greed, hatred, and delusion, thirst, anger, and ignorance. Resolving negative karma and the victim's suffering lies in transforming the mind, recognizing impermanence, and the insubstantial nature of all things to attain enlightenment. In summary, Christianity places faith in divine intervention from God to achieve absolute healing and justice in a new eternal life. Buddhism places faith in self-reliance and the law of karma to achieve liberation from suffering, nirvana, restorative justice in the eternal realm, transcendence. The concept of restorative justice in the eternal realm is a metaphysical concept, transcending the limits of earthly law and matter. If, in current life, restorative justice focuses on restitution and reconciliation to heal economic and psychological harm, in the eternal realm, this goal is expanded into absolute wholeness. In the eternal realm, modern legal concepts such as compensation, imprisonment, or community reintegration are no longer relevant. Material or property restitution is meaningless because the nature of the eternal realm, according to many beliefs, is a state not governed by material needs or scarcity. What was lost in this life cannot compare to the richness and fullness of eternal life. Victims do not need a legal mechanism for recovery because healing and justice are executed by a supreme power, or through cosmic laws, such as karma, which are perfect and automatic. The goal of restitution in the eternal realm is not to recreate what was lost, but to achieve a transcendent state. The goal is to achieve a state of wholeness, a complete spiritual and mental recovery, transcending all material and emotional damage ever incurred on earth. The recovery is essentially a reaffirmation of the victim's divine, noble nature, which cannot be eternally destroyed by earthly crime. All pain or trauma becomes meaningless before this eternity and wholeness. Freedom from the victim role. This is the central and most important idea of justice in the eternal realm. The victim will be freed from the designation victim and all accompanying psychological and emotional trauma. This role ceases because the cause of the injury, the crime, has been eradicated or has been dealt with by supreme justice. The recognition of their worth, purity, and innocence is complete and eternal. This is the highest form of restitution, where there is no longer a need to fight for recognition or vindication. The victim experiences absolute serenity, unburdened by the past or loss. Please like the video, comment your opinion, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel too.